The most infamous graphical imperfections on the PlayStation are vertex snapping, also known as vertex jitter or wobble, a fine texture mapping or texture warping / distortion, and depth error, aka flickering textures. There is another graphical imperfection that seems to go unnoticed, which is strange because it's only visible when an object is close to the screen. Can you spot it? As I move forward, polygons close to the screen travel with me for a bit, until they disappear. I call this visual artifact the near clip effect. It happens when polygons near the camera are clipped. Clipping. What the hell is that? Well, first let's see what it's supposed to look like when done correctly. I'm using Unreal Engine to demonstrate the near clip effect. As you can see, objects close to the camera stay in place regardless of how close I get. The only thing you might notice is that objects are sort of sliced off. I can exaggerate this effect by adjusting the near clip distance. But why is it necessary to clip triangles in the first place? To demonstrate what happens when clipping is disabled, I'll use this software renderer that I built just recently. It renders objects akin to PlayStation. I've disabled clipping, and as I move closer to the object you can see that it starts to look crazy. I can't see anything at this point. Imagine if this happened in-game. If I keep moving forward, something weird happens. The object reappears in front of the camera, but it's now flipped. This happens during the perspective divide, when the W component becomes negative.
Those points behind us have positive Z values. Those things with positive Z values end up with negative W values. And when we divide by a negative number, what happens is all those things get flipped over upside down and backwards in front of us. It makes your pictures look kind of interesting.
In a nutshell, without clipping, objects behind the camera reappear in front of us. If you want a more detailed explanation, I suggest watching this video. So that's one reason why clipping is necessary. Another reason is related to performance. We don't want to render stuff that's outside of the camera frustum. A camera frustum is a truncated pyramid. It has a near and a far plane, and 4 others. Triangles that are outside of the frustum are discarded, and the ones that intersect are clipped. At the beginning of the video I said that polygons are clipped on the PlayStation. Well,
I lied.
This strange behavior is actually due to a lack of clipping. I think this Reddit user described clipping on the PlayStation perfectly.
Then you had to fucking clip them to the goddamn view frustum, unless you wanted shit poking out of the screen. It was a bitch, I tell you what. And by clip, I mean throw them the fuck away.
It seems to me like he's been traumatized by the PS1. I hope he recovers eventually. You see, when a vertex reaches a certain distance from the camera, you have to do something with it. Because if it goes behind the camera, it will cause issues like in the example I showed earlier. Your options are to either discard the entire triangle, which can create a hole in your scene, or you can push its vertices forward for a bit and then discard it. This reduces the frequency and size of gaps. This is what it looks like when the entire triangle is discarded once one of its vertices reaches the near plane. It just disappears, which is undesirable. You most likely don't want the person playing the game to see this. But why aren't triangles clipped on the PS1? The answer is kind of underwhelming. It's because it's faster to just discard them. In conclusion, this effect is a way of hiding the lack of clipping on the PlayStation. I hope this made sense to you.